Hi, my amazing artists. We are going to be doing an exercise in value, which is great for all ages. And there's so many different ways in which you can do this kind of exercise. It's something fun to do. It's kind of like doodling. You can do it small, you can do it large. It is completely up to you how you like to go about doing it, but I'll show you a few different options. Okay, the very first thing you're going to do is kind of like a big scribble on a piece of paper. Let me see if I can focus this a little bit better. Maybe if I go down, I think that will be, I'll go back up. All right, I'll just keep it there for now. So the first thing you're gonna do is take a pencil or a marker. You know what, I'm gonna use a marker because you know me, I like to be a little bit bold and not worry about my mistakes, especially with this, there's really no mistakes, okay? So I'm gonna take my black marker and I'm gonna go ahead and make like a scribble where lines are overlapping each other, okay? It doesn't matter where you start. And I'd rather you not think about it too much because the more you think about it, the harder it's going to be to make it look very organic and natural. And as you're scribbling going on top of each other, notice how now they're making different shapes, right? You have the one larger shape in the background, and then you have different shapes when they overlap. So for example, this is one shape, this is another shape. You have this smaller one here, this bigger one. So there's many different shapes now that you have made by overlapping your scribble. So now here's your options. You can take markers or crayons and choose a few different values of one color, or you can choose a value just through white through black. So you have your white, which would be nothing, right? Because the paper is white. Then you have your light gray, your dark gray, and your black. You could choose a color like blue and try to find different values of your blue using marker, crayon, colored pencil, even watercolor if you want to experiment with value with watercolor. Okay, and you would choose as many different values as you can find, going from lightest, which is your white, all the way to darkest, which is your black, and the tones in between, and the different shades and tints in between. So this would be, you know, a tint of blue, and then it's getting darker as it progresses. Or you can just use pencil, and I'll show you how to do that too. Okay, so if you're using pencil, okay, then what you're going to do is in each section, you're going to fill it in with a different value. And it's all about pressure, right? We've talked about pressure. So if I'm going to do this one here, and I want to keep it the same value, this kind of lighter tone, I'm not pressing so hard. You don't really see it so much on the video, right? Notice that my hand is further back on my pencil. I'm not holding it all the way up here towards the tip. It's really hard to get a nice even tone, okay, if you're holding it here. Like if you notice, you know, I would have to, one, it would take forever, and two, it would be just a little bit more difficult. So you scoot your hand back so that way you can lay the pencil almost flat on the paper to the side. I'm not up and down, I'm flat to the paper. Choose what pressure you want. So you're pressing harder, you're pressing softer, whatever it is, choose that one pressure for the entire shape, and you're filling in that shape with that one pressure. Okay, my kindergarteners can do this, my fifth graders can do this. This is all about practicing pressure, and your goal for each shape is to make it look like it's even the whole way. So what I mean by even is that it's the same pressure. That's not the same pressure as this, right? I pressed harder and it was darker in this section. So to create even pressure, it's all about how you press into the paper and how you're holding the pencil. So hold it to the side, and this is just practice, right? So the next one on either side should be different. Do you want this one to be darker? Do you want to leave one of them white? Because white is a value, right? White is a tint of a color, and it's the lightest of all of the values. So this one I'm going to do a little darker. Notice again, I'm holding the pencil back. I'm even putting my finger here towards the front to push down a little bit because I wanted it to be a little bit darker. So I wanted to create more pressure on the paper. So I'm using this to add the pressure rather than putting my hand closer to the tip, and it's helping me create more even. Okay, so this is one of the ways that you can go about filling in this kind of abstract drawing or a doodle. Another thing you can do with pencil is create a value scale. This is so much fun. I actually really love doing this. This would be great for my 4th and 5th graders, maybe even 3rd grade if you want to challenge yourself. But what you can do is create a value scale. And some of us have practiced this in the classroom, some of us haven't. So let's take a look at what it looks like. That's when you're going from like dark to light, from dark to light or light to dark. You can go in this direction, you can go in this direction, and for each one, you're gonna change your direction and it's gonna look really cool together. So what you're gonna do is figure out which one feels more comfortable for you, meaning going from light to dark or dark to light. And again, it's all about pressure. So if I'm starting really light here, as I'm moving across, I'm gonna push down a little bit harder on my paper. Okay, and you're gonna see it. You can't really see me pushing, right? Because it's so subtle that you're not gonna really see that difference, but you will see what it looks like. And as I'm pushing harder, you'll see that gradient change. Isn't that so beautiful? And you know, if you look close, I didn't get right up to the edge. So I do have to go back to those areas and clean it up a little bit, which is gonna be a little challenging, I won't lie, because trying to get that same pressure, okay, as what you did along the way is totally, you definitely need practice. I almost imagine it might be easier to go outside your lines first, kind of like this, and then maybe just erasing what you don't want. I think that's actually a better technique. And then I would come here with my eraser. I know, I'm allowing you to use your eraser. Crazy Miss Bussard, right? So here we go. That's another technique you can do. And the one next to it, I would do the opposite. So if I did light to dark here, maybe for this one, I would do dark to light. Let's see what that looks like. Okay. So I'm going to go, you know what? I like going from light to dark. I just have a better control myself that way. So I'm even turning the paper a little bit as I go. I think it's going to have a cool effect. Again, I'm not worrying about coming outside here. I don't really want to get into this one too much because I already have something there. So this is, you know, a lot more control, very thoughtful about how you're filling your space. Okay, I'm going to come over here. You'll notice that once this starts to get filled up with pencil, you're going to get a lot of pencil smudgings on your hand, and it might smudge what you're doing. So I always try to figure out where I can put my hand, what place I can put it, so that way I'm not smudging all the hard work that I've been doing. But if it happens, honestly, guys, no big deal, right? And I'm going to go ahead and erase what's around it up to my line. That is so cool. Yeah, so in each section, you're going to do a different dark to light or light to dark. And it kind of makes it look shiny. Now this looks more like metal, right? Because you have the really light to the dark and it kind of gives it a metal look, where this is more flat and two-dimensional. So you can fill up this whole thing, maybe even a mixture of them, with your pencil. And each one should be a different value, or each one should be a different value scale. Okay, so let's see how we can do the same kind of thing, but with your markers. All right, so let me turn it. I'm just going to do another one real quickly, another little scribble. Maybe this one will be a little smaller. Maybe I'll do a set of 3 of them. You know, you can choose how you want to do it. Okay, this ended up being bigger than I thought it was going to be. That's fine. Okay, so this one is definitely much different. It kind of reminds me of, like, to be honest, I don't even really know. I'm going to add a little bit more down here because why not? Okay, and then in each section, we're going to do a different value. So maybe one of them I'm filling in with black. Okay, I like to go quicker on the inside and then go a little bit slower along my curves so I stay within my lines. You know, this is great practice for my kindergarteners and first graders who, if you're anything like my first grader that I have at home, Amelia, who just turned 7, she works so fast and she scribbles, which is not bad, but when you're trying to keep things really tight and concise, doing it a little bit slower and learning when to follow the curve is going to be better in the long run. Okay, so there's times that it's great to go fast, like in the middle, and there's times that are really great to go a little slower towards the edges. So notice that I'm changing the value, okay, when the shape is touching the other shape. So I wouldn't do black here because this is black, but maybe I would do this color blue. So in each one, you're changing the value. I don't know about you, but I thought that was going to be a lot darker. But you know what? Totally okay. So you're going to take the time to fill this in. I'm going to do a little time lapse of the other one on the other side just because I enjoy practicing value when I'm using pencil. I feel like it really will help later when I'm learning to add shades and tints of maybe an object to make it look three-dimensional. So the more I practice, the better I'm going to get at it. Okay, so I'm going to do this side. And I'm looking forward to seeing what your doodle comes out like. If you're using markers or if you're gonna really try the pencil, I would love to see my older students at least do some of this. Even if you do marker first and then go on top of it with some pencil to create some shading, that would be pretty awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this. I'm gonna create a time lapse so it goes super quickly. And don't forget to upload it to Artsonia when you're complete, so that way I can see your progress for the week. All right, everyone, I'll talk to you later. Bye.